Hey everyone, opening to Belhor here. This is one of the new bands I've been listening to when I'm lifting, and that's going to be the subject, this very first part in this video, updating on week 7, wherein I find myself needing good music to listen to. And one, mostly because the music at the gym is not ideal. Sometimes it's not cool to squat to Nickelback, basically ever. Two, music is that little extra thing that helps drive your performance just that bit harder. And, these training sessions with UHF as it grinds on into this 7th week is music is helping out quite a bit. So been listening to that band Belhor, and I'll put them in the description box. Now, gonna start updating you on week 7 with the UHF. I'm the furthest along through this program than anybody else out there running it. I know there's quite a few of you out there running the UHF, and so I'd figure kind of give you guys a forecast of what you're coming into. This would be like a leader's reconnaissance if we're talking military stuff here. And so, first things first, do not push the T3 because you think you can or you feel like you should on a particular day. Maybe just a tad bit, but don't overdo it because, man, I kind of think I wrecked myself through week 6. These squats here on this beginning of week 7, this was Monday. I only got 5 on that rep out, and I was really wanting to go above 5, with 5 being my bottom goal because I was only 410. So definitely pushed it a bit too hard on the T3 in week 5 and 6. So do not be tempted to do that. Do not suggest that at all. This would be Tuesday, that following day, with the bench press as the T1, you guys going up to 315 for a 3x3. Final set is going to be a rep out, and on the bench, I'm going to talk about a very specific part of it here, and that's your landing zone. So pay attention real quick to where the bar hits, landing zone. That's an important thing to remember because there's an ideal spot to touch, and it's going to be different on everyone based on limb length, grip of your grip width, all that stuff. I mean, the way set up is going to change where your landing zone is, but the thing is if you train a consistent landing zone, you're going to refine that movement pattern, and you're going to be more efficient, you're going to be stronger in that trained landing zone. So many times the first thing people should fix with their bench is the correction of that landing zone on their chest, because if you're just hitting all over the place down there, it's not going to be a very consistent bench, and it's going to be very hard to train effectively and to get stronger. This right here is a really good set for me. The most I've ever done for 6, that was 315 for 6 after 2 sets of 3. Feel pretty good about that. Now the T2 on Tuesday is more squatting. The T1 on Monday is squatting. This right here is just some pause squats, 5 sets of 2. This is 365 on the bar, and I started these with the belt because my lower back was a little bit fatigued. My hips have definitely been tight, and getting to depth is sometimes a bit uncomfortable, so putting on the belt gives me a bit more confidence. But as these squats went on, this is the first set you're seeing, the first set of 2. As the squats went on, it got a bit easier, so the last set was feeling a bit better, and so I just decided to take the belt off. And this is an example of something you could do in a specific session if you wanted to just push the effort a little bit harder. This is just making it a bit harder of an exercise to do. The belt does help me maybe 30 to 50 pounds, I would say, for the squat and a deadlift. But if you want to just go a little bit harder on the UHF within reason, try to go beltless rather than push the T3 and the T2. Those two lessons kind of play together. This right here, though, is the session of the week. This is what we're going to end with in this video. This is Wednesday T1 deadlift. Last video I talked about reworking my deadlift as I approach my upcoming meet, and this is it. Reverse band deadlifts, you guys. I'm going to be making a video release on the reworking of the deadlift as I approach this meet. It's going to be not exactly like waveforms, but a similar kind of idea like waveforms. And of course here, reverse bands. And so I'll go into detail on that. And this is that first session with reverse bands. Heaviest I've lifted with the deadlift in probably like 6 to 9 months. And so Granted, the bands I think are taking about 125 to 150 pounds off at the bottom. I did this just by setting them up and incrementally increasing the weight until the plates touched the ground, and then I could barely lift it with a finger. That's kind of how I figured it out. And so here is my second attempt at a heavy single. 685 on the bar. So at the bottom, really about 535 maybe, and at the top, 685. Not 700, but dang close. Really hard lift. The setup was not very good, but I kind of coached myself and prepped myself for this lift right here, and I'll leave you with the bare audio. This is the final heavy attempt from Wednesday. Reverse band deadlift, 700 pounds on the bar. And there it is, the 700-pound reverse band deadlift, and that was my reach goal this first time through my reworking of the deadlift programming as I approach the meet. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think that might be the first time I've ever had 700 pounds in my hands, really, besides maybe like a rack pull where I use straps or something, but no straps, and went up pretty good even with my hands being a bit messed up. And yeah, you saw my leg probably kick back on 2 of those. Nothing to worry about. The mats that the bar is resting on are a little bit bouncy, and the bar was knocking back into my shin, so a bit of a bummer on that. But other than that, the deadlift session was freaking awesome. So went up to the 700, dropped it down to about 80%-ish. I think this is 555, and I did 3 sets of 3. The first one I tried to still go no straps. That was a no-go due to hand damage, but really that was fairly small compared to what it could have been with a weight that heavy. And very glad my hands held up and my grip was strong. And then I really had no problem convincing myself to carry on through the deadlift session with nothing but just some straps. This is the last set of those T1 deadlifts, and feeling pretty strong, a little bit beat up, but you know, that's what's going to happen when you first start kicking back into those heavy deadlifts. So felt good about those. Rocked and rolled through the T2 on these legs up benches. This is just 5 sets of 2, keeping it low volume this week for some recovery because I knew these deadlifts were going to hit me hard. And all in all, feeling very, very good about the UHF. Now just finished day 4, not videoed, and then I'll be doing day 5, heading out this video with some more Belhor. Take it easy, guys.